Do you ever find that your head gets filled up with a load of nonsense that you have to rid it?
Yes.
And somehow this seems to work for me. So this is a release. As much as it's hard to sit silent on certain issues that have come up in the world, I think it's just a matter of time before other individuals begin to piece it all together anyway. I think it's already set in motion, but yeah, wow. So Trump holds very little value over human life. You've got to cast your mind back before we got into the political sphere a second time. Do you remember that all those business people were in that room and there was that leaked recording that got put out?
Yeah.
And he was standing at this podium saying, I'm going to make you very wealthy. You're all going to become very rich. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Not word for word per se. Starting to become very apparent now. Which are these businesses? That would be an interesting one. It was a secret meeting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Who are those businesses? Man, I'd have my freaking eyes on these companies, to be honest, because it didn't make any sense. How are you going to make them rich? Think about that. If they're businesses, therefore, they are selling stuff to the people.
Yeah.
How do you make them rich? So any company that sells, you're going to have to be buying from somewhere. You need a source. Where are you going to become very rich from when it's no different to whether Biden was in or whether anybody else in the past was in? How are you going to make somebody really rich?
If you show them where to invest.
Or you drain another country for their resources, such as Ukraine. Now this is really starting to come to light. I find this absolutely weird. Not weird, no, just it's about realistic, really, isn't it? Well, that business deal went down the fucking pan, didn't it? But what's in it for Russia? See, it's not just Ukrainian troops that are, they're in self-defense mode. I love self-defense where you have a right to defend yourself. That's no different from life. You're constantly trying to defend yourself from the inevitability and make great things happen. Now, it's also the Russian troops, because they might not know.
Yeah.
Do you see... And then the more this comes out, the more this could potentially make the people of Russia look at this situation. If it gets there, I understand propaganda and lots of different... But the families that have got soldiers that were put into this, because at the same time, yes, Ukraine are defending themselves. And I understand it that the soldiers are also innocent on Russia's side as well, because they won't know. They think this is all about something else. We can just only imagine what they've been told. But, it's a country thing and it's this, that. They've probably not gone up to them and just said, hey, we're doing this because of this. It never is that way. And those families that suffer. And then it makes you understand a little bit more about, is it called Wagner? Was his name Wagner?
That was the army, wasn't it?
He found something out.
Yeah.
He discovered something. Oh, this is all starting to, it seems. But my understanding of this is, where did this conversation get hatched? Now, is it with Republican? Is it with those businesses?
Yeah.
Because the businesses were in, I'm sure that, I wonder if it would be eerie, it wouldn't, but it would be strange if those same businesses that had that secret meeting were once in Russia selling. Where is this information chain going from? Because, the only way to prevent this from happening again is to see it. When you begin to see it, you can safeguard against it. So, and then everyone's been manipulated. Everybody. everyone's almost been manipulated. I think no one knows that you've been manipulated, but I think it starts to come out. Some people were very hot on something's not right.
Yeah.
Is it Emmanuel?
Macron?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did I say his name correctly?
Yeah, I think so.
What a little light. Again, I find myself, his just whole next plan of action is beautiful. I find that quite A1. I like that. So, when moving NATO over to the nation of Ukraine, it wouldn't have worked. That wouldn't have worked anyway. There was a plan made, but there's so much little pieces now start fitting the puzzle together, and again, it could be wrong.
Yeah.
I very much doubt it. So, when we look at the behaviour of last time, it's all about behaviour, yeah? When he was saying that people weren't paying their part for NATO, right?
Yeah.
That's what he said, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You're not chipping in. You're not paying enough. And this isn't representation of America. Not at all. It's representation of an individual in America. This is not. America's about freedom and democracy.
Yeah.
I do see that. And why would it be any different for their allies to be liberated from, if my education that I've been taught is correct, and it would seem it over the course of history.
Yeah.
So there's that part with NATO. So moving on from NATO, there was that, we might not protect certain nations. So had Ukraine have taken NATO and the European Union would have put NATO in Ukraine, that wouldn't have worked because he'd have turned it off when he got back in power again.
Yeah.
Right, so we can already see that there's a big hole in NATO. NATO as it stands is a fucking good idea. But NATO is only as strong as the leader. So if you've got one that is fully into democracy, is fully into freedom and liberty in other nations, which is the standard has been set from most other presidents, near enough all of them, have always followed that path. Every single one of them. Because they've never once shirked their responsibility from NATO, ever. And then you've got a few little chestnuts that are being said. So, how far back has this plan gone? That's the question. And then, this has been built. That's a sad reality. Everyone has been manipulated. I think this is what's probably coming out. That you've been manipulated. And that, unfortunately, a control freak will manipulate in order to gain control. They'll say anything to get control. So that's the way it is. That's how dictatorship works, is gain control, manipulation. I'm not sure if it's actually dictatorship. I think it's more into that. And then we've got that. Then we've got the businesses that are in that. Then we must have had somewhere underneath all of these layers, there's been some communication happen. Now, where is that communication? There, you see, this was my holy grail. I want to find that. Why do I want to find it? Because it's very important. It will never happen again. And then, if we were looking at Britain, we take the Five Eyes Alliance, yes?
Yeah.
They need to know this. There is going to be a large amount of needing to know in order to be able to prevent this from happening again. Sure, it's not the be-all and end-all, people move, but at least it shuts down one part of this. So then I would look in Britain. Where else is this? Who are you? How far back does this go? What are your plans here in the United Kingdom? Because you are definitely here within it. So therefore you're rats. There's information being shared here, and it seems like it was if this hadn't have come out like it does now, they would have collapsed the democracy empire. Think about it. It's only a matter of time. So there are business players in this. And I think they're the ones responsible for sending information. Now, there was already something happen. I think Russia expelled diplomats and also Britain expelled Russian diplomats. America did. I think most of EU did, although I'm speaking on a unknown, I don't know whether that is actually true, whether EU did.
Yeah.
But I think that there was a lot of this. So everyone thought it was the diplomats.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to me that it might not have been the diplomats. Or it could have been, that could have been where it starts. But where's this information been shared? So is that come from businesses that were in the nation? So if you've got businesses acting in Russia selling and their headquarters might be here, you've got some in Britain and you've got some in Russia, is there information been shared between these?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mostly.
I'm pretty sure it's not going to have been done over internet. It's going to be word of mouth at best, or some level of flanking or moving and talking in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that there's definitely some sort of language being spoken.
Yeah.
This is interesting. It's not at all, because Ukraine are absolutely in the middle of this. No, it's not fair. It is not fair. The resources that are there, it's up to them for their prosperity, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there's ever been anything on the table where they say, you know, there's nothing in it for us.
Yeah.
I think they would have shared, along with most of their allies. They seem quite, you know, and no different from us buying from, is it Iran? No. Dubai? No, it's not Dubai. Emirates. Don't we get our barrels of oil from here?
Or Saudi Arabia. I
Saudi
don't know
Arabia,
which one.
different areas such as, well, I know it comes from this area, yes?
Yeah.
We buy,
Yeah.
then we sell.
Yeah.
We buy, then we sell. We buy, then we sell. Put a tax on it, and then hopefully it goes back into a tax pot that then builds a society even further. Yes? So it would have been no different from that. But if you're going to get a good deal, perhaps there wouldn't be any buying as much. It would be more like, you owe us this.
Mm-hmm.
And then this tells those businesses that, you know, I'm going to get this for dirt cheap price for you to sell on to the British people, American people, whatever it may be, at such a low price.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're going to sell it to the American people at the same price.
Mm-hmm.
Because that doesn't put prosperity in Americans' pocket, everyday Americans. No, it puts, because the talk wasn't, America, I'm going to make you wealth. No, it was businesses. I'm going to make you super rich. It was the businesses. So everyday Americans wouldn't have got that.
Mm.
It's just kind of, what's in it for Russia? Something. There's got to be something.
Yeah.
The behavior of it all is, you don't get any nukes. You don't get any of this. So Ukraine was kind of, to me, it looks like, here you go. Here's, do you want this freedom? Ooh, nearly Ukraine. Do you want this freedom? Well, yes, we do. We want to stand apart. Okay, but then you're going to have to give up all of this. And then who made the deal to say, you can't have this, and this? There's an agenda.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I'll give you freedom, however, you're going to be on an invisible leash, the leash that only I know about. Save you for later. Which is interesting. So then that would mean that this oil, or whatever it is you're able to get hold of, you're running out.
Mm-hmm.
That tells me something, because round about now, you must be getting quite low.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting low on something. Interesting. So, and it's been good since then, but I think it's getting lower and lower and lower in that resource, wherever you are resourcing this minerals, whatever they may be, you're either running low. Hence why you've allowed it to go for so long until your reserves start to falter. Now, when your reserves get a little bit less, You then become desperate. Then it becomes a deal to be made. How long has this been in the makings for? And then those businesses that are in there, how much of our democracy are you in control of them? And then should you be in control of the democracy, or should the individuals, every individual, equally be in control of that democracy and what happens and who's who?
That is a question. Yeah.
And then the aftermath of all of that was, see women, we tell you how to blah, blah, blah. I don't agree with any of that. And a quick news flash for you guys, men. Do you even know that women outpopulate the world? There are more women than there are men. Did you know that? Do you know why? Because they've been to many battles.
Yeah.
So, they've seen an awful lot then, haven't they?
Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it? There's more women than men. Why do you think that is?
Yeah. And Russians know this very, very well from past.
Go on.
From the war. They lost a lot of men, didn't they, Russians, in Second World War? That was a big war.
So, once you're through with all the men, women are next. It's very damaging, really, isn't it? It's quite a front. And they say it's a man's world. Well, keep going like this and it soon won't be. They're very opposite to what you say. I think it's an equal world. Women are just as qualified as men. Men are just as qualified as women. But there is an awful lot here, but there is definitely communication happening. And then it makes lobbying seem a little bit more bit strange.
Yeah.
So which businesses? So I'm going to imagine oil, because there's been references to this. It's like liquid gold. You'll leave my liquid gold alone. You can do anything you want, RFK, but you leave my liquid gold. So something with RFK didn't sit right. I think it would seem some information he came privy to and it just didn't sit right. Hence that conversation. Yeah, it's so easy to piece this back. Maybe it's not right, maybe it really isn't, but I don't know. It's weird. And then didn't they take over Crimea? Russia occupied Crimea and then straight in with nuclear weapons, was it?
Yeah.
That type of behavior is very telling. You say what you don't want. You say what is opposite to your action. That action speaks 1,000 words. The words could never admit. Those body languages is absolutely insane. But I think it will go towards the best possible outcome, one that is so unexpected, I think. I think we're going to see some big fucking changes, especially in this area or climate. And I think that this could make Iran very nervous. I think because what type of a story are they being told from this? What do they know? What are they being told? The opposite too? That this is what we're all about? And then if they have resources, are they going to panic? I would hate to see Iran in fear mindset. I wouldn't like that very much. And then this could destabilize, is it the East?
Yeah, it's the Middle East, isn't it?
Middle East.
I think Middle East is called.
There are so many other ways that we can navigate from this situation. You know, that is a true sad fact with life, right? How long would it take to eliminate a planet?
Not long, would it?
Well, in multiple ways, you could do it within 15 minutes. The entirety of the planet.
Yeah.
Do you know how long it probably takes to do a solar system?
No.
About 24 hours. Depending on the event.
Yeah.
How quick is that?
That is very quick.
That's like...
One day and gone.
Well, even if it was about 46 hours, even still, that's a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
That's quick.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Over and done with. Just as quick as that.
Yeah.
How long does it take to live?
Much longer.
And evolve?
Yeah.
Takes much longer, doesn't it?
Yeah, much longer.
What do you think the universe is in favour of?
Living, creating,
yeah. Teaching, evolving,
making,
combining. How long does it take to snuff out a life? Not very long.
Not long. It's very quick.
Well, like 15 minutes, give or take.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 minutes, depending on what it was at the end of life. It's fast.
Yeah.
Compared to living, it's much longer, isn't it?
Yeah.
If we removed all of the things that did cause death,
Yeah.
you know, hit by a car or car accident or big fall on concrete or just different things like that. I mean, if we were to remove all of these settings and put back into the woods or something like that, I mean, the worst that's going to happen if you fall over in a forest or something, you'll get back up, dust yourself down. So practically the earth cradles us in a way that makes it so that it's more in favour of life.
Yeah.
And it's so in favour of life that look at the amount of life forms that there are.
Many different.
Look at how much there is with nature as well. We could look at that too. And how many adaptations or evolutional chains have all come from that.
Yeah.
What do you think the universe is in favour of, or the planet is in favour of, or life itself is in favour of? Death or life? Life. The universe, is it in favour of death or life?
Life.
If life has been on this planet, if we go back as far as the Accordian times, it's like nearly 4.5 billion years of existing.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think it was like around 3.5 billion years worth of existing, 4.5 billion years worth of the planets existing. Did you know there's been less time with no life than there has been with life?
No, I didn't know that.
Well, if you think about it, 3.5 billion years out of 4.5 billion years,
Yeah.
which one showed you more life?
Yeah, I see.
Which one was more without it? We would be like, well, what about the other planets? Well, shades of grey. We've not been to another solar system to understand this yet. We haven't been to another galaxy yet.
Yeah.
I think we're going to find that this is far more abundant than previously understood. Because I think the universe is really in favour of it.
Yeah.
In fact, I know that. Just look in a mirror. Take a look outside in the summer. It's more in favour of life. There is less destruction in the universe. There's more creation. What's it in favour of? And then somewhere along the lines, we've desensitized to the fact that this type of behavior was acceptable. I think there's a change coming, but it's just looked like that we've convinced ourselves, taught ourselves somehow that And I'm not going to say that this is all businesses, because I'm pretty sure that not all businesses are all about that. Again, I think it's just a small minority of individuals that perhaps are in places they shouldn't be in. And is that truly democracy? No, I don't think it is. And in favour to get what you want at a good deal for yourselves, but not the very people that you're going to sell this to. Could you imagine if these individuals ruled the world? It would be a very different world. And I'm not going to put this on all people, because I'm pretty sure there are some businesses out there that are thriving and upcoming, and they're not like this. They're not about this. They're completely opposite to what that is. And they probably wouldn't have got a look in anyway. I just don't see the gravitational pull between Tesla or Musk and Trump. I don't see it.
Yeah.
He's all about this innovating and on the opposite. So what was in it for you?
Something else. Just like for the others.
How come someone that took a massive shot at renewable energy and all the rest of it, and it's a good job that most of the place didn't go and get nuclear power stations. You can see how these can be used as ransom. We already saw a bit of this in Ukraine as it was anyway, where they started lining the tops of the nuclear power stations with charges, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it some of the troops go and lay charges on top of the nuclear power station? You can exactly see how this stuff can be used as ransom.
Yeah, it can.
And then we get convinced, manipulated that hydrogen is the worst thing ever, you know? Which it really isn't. This can be used in many ways to charge up a battery.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have enough because we need a lithium battery. Just because you've convinced the world that lithium is the only type of battery that is successful enough in an electric car. I don't think so.
They are different.
We are just upscaling remote control cars. That's what we're doing. Let's not step away from that. And how many different types of batteries do you have? And how long do those remote control cars work? And anyone out there with half a brain cell, you can go and get these remote control cars, put these batteries in and start putting weight on them, and even see how long they last for. See how fast they go. They will defy your expectations of what they are capable of doing. And these are on batteries. Sure, disposable or rechargeable, it doesn't really matter. They all have the same sort of window, because batteries are custom made no matter which way we look at this. Lithium may be good, yeah, I understand that, I get it, I really do, but there are also other batteries out there, and if we limit ourselves in a belief, because that's all it is, this is a belief system that we're being forced to believe. There's only one type of battery, and that mineral is so short, you know? What, so we get over there and take this from these individuals?
Yeah, and we'll make it only for the better people, kind of. Rich people.
Right, because it's easy, right? Like I said, it's easy. What is more difficult? Evolving, learning, adapting, changing. That's all difficult. That is very difficult. Try and change yourself. Try and break free from limiting beliefs or anything else that's been. It is not impossible, but it has been a challenge. And the more you challenge it, it becomes easier and easier and easier the more you do it. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. In the beginning, the first few steps feel arduous, really heavy. But bit by bit, when you begin to battle back these things, you begin to smack them back, it gets easier and easier, because that battle is then put into this battle. And if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
And the same as with the way we live. It's easy to go in and blow up a nation and then take their resources, or do this or do that, or get control. It's easy, that's easy. It's not exactly difficult, is it? What is really difficult is all getting around a table together and finding the best way solution forward without the need of that. But no. We see time and time again that, and it seems to be from this sort of climate that we have certain types of individuals find the easiest way out. And I think that it was Xpeng. Xpeng? Is that how you say the Chinese leader's name?
Oh. Xi Jinping or
Yeah, there you
something
are.
like that.
Xi Jinping, yeah?
Xi Jinping or something
okay,
like
so
that.
the Chinese leader,
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
his words. He said, "You're giving communists a bad name."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't think all communists are the same, have the same mindset. Just like this should not be a reflection of all free world leaders.
Yeah.
Because if it is, then we'd all have to be tarred with this same brush, the same way that we're tarred with the same brush. No, we might have some leaders that will strive and find although it's difficult. Kennedy rings a very big alarm bell here, JFK. Yeah. We don't do these things because they're easy, we do these things because they are hard.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yeah. Makes sense.
And then begin to navigate. And again, this is what makes you great. But I can assure you this is the best way forwards, although it doesn't seem like it at the moment. But to put NATO in there and then the alliance falters, and then this would have roped an awful lot into a battle, which I think would have led to World War III.
Yeah.
Which would have caused an awful amount of carnage on all sides and practically fucked the planet in the process.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's an awful lot of backwardness in this, but who communicated? Where is this communication trail? A lot of them are resigning, and there is nothing wrong with being a hypocrite, nothing at all with being a hypocrite. Melt down all of that, walk in your light. Don't worry about what that may be thrown at you or this whole loyalty to keep you grounded in this sort of stuff. No. If you feel it, you didn't know it, or perhaps you did know it but didn't understand the gravity of the situation, and you begin to maneuver out of that situation, and you go off and you think that this is not what I'm about this, this and this does not align to me, and you walk the other way. That is not a coward. That takes absolute strength for you to do that. That makes you a strong person, not a weak one. Again, it's the mind. The mind is quite a powerful tool, really, isn't it? The way it locks you into a situation that you might not want to be in. All out of this thing called loyalty and everything else. You don't have to be nasty about it, but you can. The statement of you just moving away from that situation is one of the most strongest things, and you are aligning to that, again, that strength of the universe. Utilize that and wrap yourself in it, and heed these words over any other. If you walk from that, you are strong. Not a traitor, not a hypocrite. You are aligning to your correct path. What is aligning to you? And if you keep that in your mind, I guarantee you that it will elevate you. It will definitely elevate you, because within you is seeing it. It's seeing that. It's got something to work with. You will elevate. That is strength. We can all be led in this current. I don't agree with that. That sacrifice, the satanic ritual that seems to be, that just insignificant lack of caring about human life. It's terrible. I don't like that.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't, to be honest, How can the rest of the world call you an ally? You, the individual. How could we ever rely on you as an ally? We can't. That's very untrustworthy. We can't rely on that.
No. It's time to change it.
We can rely on a true free world leader. It isn't about this. We can rely on the Kennedy free world leaders.
Leaders should be able to look for solution, not when whatever he thinks he wanted to do, the other one disagrees, and then just close the door like this.
I am actually proud of everybody in this situation, the way they've responded with this it's been probably one of the most difficult things that they've ever done. The biggest challenge that anyone has ever gone through, I think, has been this situation. This has been the moment of manipulation, and it's terrible, to be honest. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with the whole outcome of just such lack of respect for human life. I get it when we've got sheep, cows, and everything else, and we're going to eat those and whatnot. I get it. And food supply, it's acceptable. Human life. Human life. No. No. That is the reverse of giving a shit.
Yeah, it is.
It's terrible. That's very bad. I think you know it. Don't you need to tell you that?
Yeah.
And then I believe there would have been another plan. There were several. I think, I don't know, I can't be sure, but looking back on this, one is put you in leadership. I believe that. I believe that this was, I'm not going to be here for very long. And then another administration took over. And this situation then has become created. But then we'll blame NATO for the creation of that. However, that falls short now because there's that type of, I will turn off NATO, or I won't protect certain countries with NATO.
Yeah, I believe NATO, yeah.
And then it's like, So it definitely isn't about NATO then, is it?
No.
But you had an opportunity, the Reed technique, you were offered something and you took it.
Yeah.
You took it. Yeah. You took it, clutched it, and then used it as your righteous way forward in order to do what you needed to do. So we can go, weren't that?
No.
So it's not that, that's bullshit. And then we'll look at the fact that you say that they can not have nuclear weapons, and this, that, and the other. So again, it's about being on a leash.
Yeah. It's about being vulnerable in future more.
And then it's proof in the pudding, because as soon as you take over Crimea, here, I have some nukes.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Let's put some.
So they can, but they were not allowed.
Yeah. We'll put nukes so you cannot take it back. So it stays with Russia.
It's not acceptable. No way is that acceptable. Terrible. And what's more, it causes such carnage around the rest of the world, because we might have other nations, whether you agree with them or not, whether you agree with their religion and the way they are and the way they be, because it's different to the way you are and the way you be. This can make them very fearful.
Cautious.
Yeah, very cautious.
Looking what is going on, analyzing.
I think China has spoken very cautiously. You're giving us a very bad name. No. There are good communists and there are also very terrible ones, I think. They're just like the same, the feeling's mutual. We got good democracy leaders in the free world, and we also got very shit ones.
Yeah.
It's not giving us a bad name. So we're beginning to parallel somewhere here. We got a parallel.
Yeah.
If there's anything from China's perspective, can you reassure Iran? Can you reassure the rest of your allies that this is not how it looks? This is not what we're representation of. We don't want that. It's peace and prosperity for all individuals within it. Somewhere along the line, we've got to start working together. I mean, it isn't too late, I would say, for you to withdraw from Ukraine. It would be my biggest advice, and again, if there is a party or these leaders or whatever it may be, these companies, if you've still got contacts, utilize them. Why? Because you said so? No, not because I said so, but because you know what is right. You know that this is wrong. Utilize those and move back. And let's save some face and get around the table.
Yeah.
So, now we're in a kind of checkmate situation here, and it is checkmate. So, we've got the Western free world leaders apply pressure, and then we've got communist alliances on the other side apply pressure.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find some common ground between the both of us. Well, I think that this could be a good way forward, and it should be a good way forward for Ukraine as well. Because they're going to need their nation building up.
Yeah.
And let's seal the door on this and let's transform this repeated history. None of us want to be living in fear that we're going to have our resources taken because how many other nations are sitting on stockpiles of resources but are not so forthcoming with it because of this behavior? And then can we find a new way to move forwards to reach the stars and go and start collecting abundance and start bringing it down so that we can all prosper off of that. That's all nations, all people.
Yeah.
And let's try and move this, keep the protective war machines that we've got, but let's focus on something else. Let's make a legacy. It's got to come somewhere, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Where all the nations have got to start working together.
Let's develop because we stagnate these years, don't we?
We will just end up stagnating if this is an easy enterprise. No, it shouldn't go this way. Not because I'm saying it. Look within yourselves.
If you look at the past, people were developing and moving forward, and now it's just nothing.
I think it's on the cusp. I think if there's a point where this goes beyond this, I don't think that there's going to be a way out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you've ever had a final chance, I think this is it.
Yeah.
It's not as a threat. It's not as a promise. It says, let's do the right thing.
Yeah.
If you ever needed it, I think it's now.
Mm.
And then it's up to Ukraine who they sell to, what they sell to, where it goes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, their nation needs building. Their people need some level of security. I think 3 years worth of this is long enough.
Yeah, they didn't get any securities, any guarantees from this meeting.
And I don't think that Ukraine were living perfectly great in the beginning before this war came along. Perhaps they were content. Some of the places that people were living in, it just showed a lot of lack for a Western country. I think it's time to start building into the pot.
Right. Some poor areas. Yeah.
Their nation, their architect, their design work. Up to them what they do. So yeah, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Do you think it's enough?
Something has to change.
Oh, I don't think it's something that needs to change. I think it's individuals need to have a look at themselves and think, is this really what we want?
Yeah, the situation they are creating, whatever they are doing.
It's the time of a new dawn. Let's open the door together. Because while we're focusing on this, there might be something else is materializing that we're not paying any attention to.
That's usually how it is, and then poof, and there we go.
I mean, there was that whole situation with Georgia, wasn't there?
Yeah.
The people voted, that's democracy for you. And then there's going to be fluctuations of what? Communism, democracy.
Yeah, that's
At the end of the day, if it works for the people, in favor, out of favor, in favor, out of favor. And I mean, this could work for the people, could it not?
Yeah. Maybe they are looking for the light balance and it's hard to find it.
It's kind of like a party within the parties within the parties. I think there are some good in both sides. And I think there are some negative in both sides. Does this mean that there is a new one that could come from both of those by absorbing both of the good from each side? I think that would be the next thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If it brings the right amount of balance, why not? Because then that would mean that we would stop stagnating. Leadership, we've been doing this whole shit for over, 1,000 years. The same, maybe even 2, maybe even 3. There has been no changes from this whatsoever. Why? So we all got something to learn from it, and we all need to take a new direction, right?
Yeah.
And I think this will work because it's better for the people. Then the people will then be like, oh yeah, this is awesome. This is awesome. This is what it's about. But there's one thing I've noticed that the people are very clear that they are tired of this.
Yes, they are. We can see it in many.
Carry it on, empires collapse. Do something about it and you save face. I think that's how it is.
Yeah, they try different political leaders in different countries, vote, see if it works. If it doesn't, then they will go slightly different way, or maybe the leader changes in that party, or maybe they vote to create some kind of coalition to see how that works.
Well, we should look at it as either side is not better than the other.
Yeah.
It's just a different way to do something.
Yeah.
It's a different way to achieve around about the same thing. Is it not?
Yeah.
There is some good in that, and there is some good in this. There is some bad in this, and there is some bad in that. Well, we're good over here. Okay. Yeah, but we're better over here. Yeah, but we're better over here. Yeah, but we're better over... The heads of a coin is not arguing with the tails. The tails of the coin is not arguing with the head. And the edge of the coin favors neither side. It sees them for both what they are. Heads or tails? Well, I'm in favor of the coin landing on the edge. It might not happen very often, but now and then it does.
Yeah.
So, what do you reckon? Rhetorical, but again,
exactly. Yeah.
I'm excited. But yeah, if we'd have gone to battle, this would have been used against, and this could have then destabilized the opposite side.
Yeah.
See, told you that's what they always do. Look how many troops have been sent into that battle. Ain't nothing quite like saying it how it is, right? But if you knew a piece of truth that you weren't even telling the own people in your own nation about, and they're responding to this situation, and then you call them for the very situation that you may have orchestrated yourself, that is something that you would throw your own parties, opposite parties, under a bus for this.
Yeah.
On the other side, if you've done the same thing, not good.
Yeah.
So do you see how I resonate with what is it president of China or is it leader?
Yeah, he's president.
President. I see what he's saying, and I resonate with that. But it's also as equal to the democracy side over here. You're both saying the same thing. But if you don't know about the agendas of the ones that are close, you've got far more in common than you realize.
Yeah.
So I believe the light is on you. So a chance, maneuver away from this situation, walk away from it. Let's save face, and let's see that best in you come out. It's there. It's there. It just went on the wrong path, maybe. It's definitely there. It's there. You've got it. Everyone's got that potential. Everybody, no matter who you are, you've got potential. Anyway, I'm going to leave this one here because I feel that this is very freeing now, and then I can move on with some other stuff. I really want to focus on not this. I don't want to focus on this. I wish this to be gone to the history books, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I think it's equal for everybody in this.